Well, good morning, lovely ladies and gentlemen. Steve Collins coming to you from gorgeous San Antonio, Texas, the second most powerful, passionate, purposeful coach and speaker in the world. Hope you guys are excited about the gift you've been given of a new day. You know, one of the blessings of having 7 kids, 5 teenagers in the house right now, is that I was struck, as I always am, with conversations that I have with my children that reveal something that I think a lot of us miss, and that's this. Maturity has nothing to do with age whatsoever. Maturity has to do with complete acceptance of responsibility and the removal of excuses in our lives. Because teenagers, are feeling out this whole thing of, who am I? What can I do? What am I capable of? What is my purpose? Why am I here? All the while being in between being a child and being an adult. I mean, it's a very challenging season in their life. And yet, if they do not learn the skills to articulate and communicate and to share what they are thinking and feeling and experiencing, these emotions can be delayed, creating 50-year-old teenagers. 50-year-old teenagers are not a lot of fun to be around, you know what I'm saying? So when we talk about this had to do with a conversation, weightlifting this morning, and it's this. I'll do it when I feel like doing it. Also known as, you ain't never gonna do it. I'll do it when I feel like doing it. Also known as, you ain't gonna do it. What do we mean by that? Very simple. You guys have been there before. I have been there before. There are very important things to us that we think are important to us. However, if they were observed by an outside party, they would determine that our audio and our visual does not line up, simply meaning that we are not walking the talk, that we are not actually engaging in intentionally and purposefully the activities that are associated with demonstrating we have high value for this or that. We judge other people by their actions, and yet we tend to judge ourselves by our intentions, with blind spots on thinking that since I had the intention, I actually deserve the rewards of someone who actually took the action. And no. It just don't work that way. You got to take the action. The intention is part of what paves the path to hell. You've heard it before. The road to hell is paved with good intentions, actions and activities that never took place, blessings that were never released, forgiveness that was never administered, and joy that was never expressed. There's thousands of people who judge themselves by their intentions while judging others by their actions, and y'all don't want to be in that group, right? Right, Steve, we don't want to be in that group. So what's your point today? My point today is simply this. First of all, you've got to know what those activities are that would demonstrate that you truly care about what you're doing. Let me give you a perfect example. There's a great book out there by a guy named John Gray called The 5 Love Languages. And the premise of this is simply that we tend to show love to people the way that we like it. The challenge with that is because there's 5 different love languages as a general rule of thumb, people will not feel loved unless you're loving them the way that they like it. Unless you're showing it the way that they like it. Challenge is it's not natural for us to express that to people their way, because we express it our way. I'll do my best to remember them. There's physical touch, like hugs and kisses, receiving gifts, when people buy you something or bring you some hot chocolate home or bring you some flowers home or something like that. There are words of affirmation, people complimenting you or being kind and saying nice things about you. There is acts of service where people do stuff for you. And then there's quality time where people really give you undivided attention. Those 5 different factors, one of those factors touches you more than the other 4. The challenge in any marriage relationship, for instance, is that we tend to give it to our spouse the way that we like it, and we can end up completely missing the bullseye altogether, shooting in the air. I mean, it's an air ball. We're not even anywhere near the goal because we're giving it out the way we like it. Now, what's disheartening about this? What's disheartening is that you're giving your very best, the very best that you know to give, and it's not good enough, and that creates problems and resentments and challenges. So we must relearn, okay, if my love language is physical touch and I'm always trying to hug and kiss, if her love language is acts of service, then I need to retrain myself to demonstrate acts of service to her, do things for her, so that she feels loved. If physical touch is not the season she's in right now, and she knows that's the love language of her husband, then she has to retrain herself not to just do the laundry and clean the house and make sure that his stuff is all nice by the counter where he gets ready in the morning, make sure he has clean underwears and whatnot. She must go, okay, this dude probably needs a hug. Okay, I hug, I kiss. Albeit messy, it's an effort. So what we tend to do is delay or avoid actions and activities that don't flow with us if we ain't feeling it. And that is my point today. If you wait to do the important stuff until you feel like it, this is also known as you ain't never gonna do it. So how then, Brother Collins, would you suggest that we take action on this matter now that we know this revelation that you've just showed us? I'm really glad you asked that. You become intentional about it by writing it down. You write it down. That is the key factor. When you write it down, then you create opportunity for your brain to get weird on you and enter a state that we call cognitive dissonance. For those of you who are real estate agents who have shown homes before, you know what I'm talking about. I'll give you an example. You walk in the house, your clients go in, everything's cool. You're like, all right, let's take a look around. Then you notice on the wall over there by the kitchen, they got the little family picture and it's sideways a little bit. And you kind of do a double take, and y'all like, yeah, y'all go check out the master bedroom. I'll be right there. And then you run over to the wall and you just straighten it out a little bit. Cognitive dissonance is when we have something in our head that says something ain't right, something's off a little bit. When you are looking at in front of you what you have written down as what you have said is important, and you are not acting on those activities as you continue to look at those things that you say are important to you, you will have cognitive dissonance, this weird mental disturbance that says you ain't doing what you say you supposed to be doing. You ain't doing what you said you supposed to be doing because you said this was important to you, but you ain't even doing it. And then cognitive dissonance creates this discomfort. And the only way to satisfy this discomfort is to do the thing. So, ladies and gentlemen, how do you do it? Get very clear. Get very clear. What is it that you need to do? What action, what activity do you need to take in order to start working towards accomplishing what you say is important to you? You say your marriage is important to you and date night's important to you. Then why haven't you been on a date in 3 years? You say, man, we really need to get away and spend a little bit of time together. Well, why haven't you been on a vacation in 6 years? You say, we really need to read to little Johnny. He's really struggling with it. Why haven't you read to little Johnny in 6 years? Well, because you don't feel like it. It ain't a natural feeling. This is a disciplined commitment. And how can you activate that discomfort that can only be scratched and satisfied? That itch can only be satisfied and scratched by completing it. You have to put the task in front of you, written down, see it regularly, all the time, all day, every day, so that cognitive dissonance says, we ain't not gonna be happy until you do the ting. You don't do the ting, we gonna feel funky. You do the ting, we gonna feel good. So write it down, put it in front of you. Once you're clear, once you know what you're gonna do, once you got it down there, then you lay it out and you let your brain go to work telling you you messing up because you ain't getting it done. Then you start taking the actions and activities. Steve, I'll do it when I feel like it. This also means you ain't gonna do it. Do it because it's the right thing to do. Have a great day, guys.